Right now, there is an old version of you and a new version of you fighting for your attention. I have been a big dreamer my whole life, and I've always had this vision of what I wanted to accomplish and what I wanted to do. But for some reason, I was always holding myself back. And as much as I would read and as much as I would learn, there was still a block. There was still something. And it might even just be the idea that there is still this block that's blocking me. It's like a never-ending block. There's just always something. There's always something that I need to heal or something that I need to fix or something that I need to change in order to evolve to the next phase in life. And I started really thinking about this, and I began imagining what my dream version of myself would be like. And I started really also going into the depths of what my past self has been like, because that's who's really running the show right now. The past self is running the show unless you consciously grab it and take control. So I have been living so much of my life with this past self, unconsciously just taking charge of my life. And that is truly the block that has been blocking me. It's not been little individual things that I need to change or I can do something better. It's the fact that I need a whole entire rewiring. I need a whole entire new identity, because the old identity cannot come with you to the new destination. They just are not compatible. The old self is compatible with your current life, your situation. Your future life is in alignment with your future self, your dream self, the self that is further along on that path than you are right now. So recently, I started thinking about what this past self is. Who is she? Who is the version of me that has been running the show, that has been holding me back, and that has been creating these blocks that are stopping me from creating the life of my dreams? And so much of it comes from basically childhood programming that I have held on to for way too long and have been using that as a crutch or as an excuse to not move forward in my life. And of course, there are reasons for that. Our ego wants to hold on to these old stories and ways of being because they have protected us and kept us safe and gotten us to this point. So in a way, some of the old conditioning, old beliefs, thoughts, and behaviors that we learned as a child have served us, but they're not serving us anymore. They're not serving us to go beyond what we've always had up until now. So I made a list the other day of things that my past self is or represents or is in alignment with, and things that my new self is in alignment with. And basically, it's the opposite of everything. So you can see right here. I started with one of the biggest one, which was that since I was young, I have been a really good rule follower. And maybe many of you are as well. You learned at a young age that if you follow the rules and if you do what you're told, then you will be rewarded. You won't be punished. You won't be criticized. You won't be scrutinized. You won't have any loss. So you follow the rules so that way you can stay safe. And that was a really big one that I've had since childhood. Not rocking the boat, not doing anything out of the ordinary, wanting to feel safe. And it's particularly strong for those that grew up with really strict parents or abusive parents that really punished you for not doing what you were told, which is my case. So when I didn't do what I was told, I would get in trouble. I'd be punished for it. So I learned that I have to do what I'm told. I have to follow the rules, and I have to go do what I'm told so that way I can stay safe, because I don't want to be punished. I don't want to be hurt. I need to protect myself. And so I learned that following the rules was the safe way to live my life. And maybe you did too. So you really have to look at that and see, like, am I a rule follower because I feel like it's the safest option for me? And that's okay. That was a form of protection that our ego created in order for us to survive. Another huge thing that my past self identifies with is this idea of hiding. So again, relates back to childhood, and it's something that has been pretty persistent in my life up until now. And that feeling of needing to hide and not expose yourself to the outside world, to criticism, to anything that could get you punished or get you in trouble. And so, similar to following the rules, hiding was another way to protect yourself in order not to receive negative attention or punishment. So, I definitely took on that characteristic as a survival mechanism to hide from my parent that was strict and scary and abusive. So I made it my intention to always be hidden, always be small, always not get in the way, always make sure that I wasn't gonna be susceptible to any sort of punishment. And that kept me safe. Hiding kept me safe. And that was a good thing for me when I was a little girl because I needed to be safe. I needed to protect myself. But now, as an adult, those ways of being as a child have continued to run my life. And so I want you to start to think about, what is your past self? What did you learn as a child? Who did you become as a child to keep yourself safe in order to protect yourself? So I went down the line in other aspects of my past self. And I also had on here just always feeling the need to suffer and to see that I was a victim of my situation, which I could argue as a child that I was a victim of this situation, that I didn't have any power to get out of it, and that I was just powerless, basically. So that also became a very strong belief that I had in myself, that I'm a victim. I can't get out of here. I wish I could, but I'm a kid. I don't have freedom. I don't have, free will to just leave and get away and go have an amazing, beautiful life that I dreamed of. And so as a child, I learned that this is not gonna happen. You have to basically accept that you are a victim of the situation. You are helpless. You are powerless. There's nothing you can do about it. You just have to grit and bear it, as they say. So I continue down this path of looking at all of the different ways that my past self found in order to survive, in order to stay safe. And again, another one that is really, really common is becoming a perfectionist. And so becoming a perfectionist is a way to protect yourself from criticism and a way to protect yourself from punishment, from making mistakes. And so you want everything to be perfect so that you don't have those negative consequences that you might get if it's not perfect. And that's a really controlling way to live your life, that everything must be this way. Everything has to be as perfect as it can be. Otherwise, I'm in danger and I don't know what's going to happen and I can't risk that. So I need it to be perfect. And perfectionism is a huge reason for procrastination, because if it can't be perfect, then why do it? So a lot of people who struggle with perfectionism also struggle with procrastination, because if it can't be perfect, then they don't want to do it and they continue to put it off and put it off and put it off, which I have also done in my life as well. So I hope that some of these are resonating with you. I don't hope that they do, because it's not a very good quality, but if they are resonating with you, that is a really good thing, because it's awareness of where you've been and where you are now and where you're going. So let's continue on to some of these other things. So we have following the rules, being a perfectionist, hiding, becoming a victim, helplessness, powerlessness, failure. That's a big one for me. I feel like because I failed to get out of that situation as a child, I had no power to change it. I basically I don't know what the word is, but surrendered or accepted failure, defeat. There's nothing I can do about it. And that's a really powerless place to be. And so I accepted failure. And as I did that, as life continued on, I accepted failure in other parts of my life as well. I didn't stand up for myself. I didn't push through. I didn't try to get stronger and believe in myself, because I had learned that I was going to fail anyway. There was no point. I can't get out of this situation, so is what it is. I just have to accept it as failure. And that has not served me in my life going forward. It served me to a certain extent, but not to where I'm going next. So this is the child self, right? The past self is the child self. The child self also took on a lot of the beliefs that my parents had in regards to money. And so I felt like I was poor, and that I had scarcity around money, and that money was hard to make, and that there was never enough. That was the underlying energy that we had in our home with regards to money. And so my past self thought that that's acceptable. That's just the way it is. And just not taking care of myself in my health as well was another big one. I was overweight, still am, but at least now I am making healthier decisions. But not taking care of yourself, not prioritizing your health and your well-being and your mental health is part of a traumatic experience, traumatic childhood. So my past self was very much focused on all of the things that had gone wrong in my life, all of the things that set me up for failure, basically. And I continued to replay those thoughts over and over and over. And many times, this is very unconscious. Many people are not aware that there are so many beliefs that we carry around that we learned in childhood that we are carrying with us today, and that are stopping us from expressing our truest and highest self. So reviewing all of these things, seeing that this was my past self, this was my childhood self, this was my small survival, staying safe self. And that served me during that time as a child. But as I got older, I kept those same beliefs, even though I didn't need them anymore. I was an adult now. I could move on. I could, completely change anything I want to. I was free to leave the house. I was free to get a job and move and, do anything I wanted. But those beliefs were still stuck in my brain. They were still stuck in my body. They were still stuck in my neurochemistry. They were still telling me that I needed to hide, that I needed to follow the rules, that I needed to control and be as perfect as I possibly can, that there wasn't enough money, that there would never be enough money. They kept on going because I wasn't changing them. And even though I have studied self-development and spirituality basically since I was 16 years old, I was still living unconsciously with all of these past self. And I would say only over the past year have I came to the realization that I want a new identity, and that really it's about creating a new identity for myself. And a new identity self-concept, some people might be able to do it like that. They just decide, this is who I'm going to be now, this is who I am, move in that way. I would love to have that happen. But for whatever reason, that's maybe not my path. I'm not sure. But for now, at least, what I can recognize is the version of me, the new self-concept that I would like to have. And that is basically the opposite of everything that I've been living through my entire life so far. So my new self-concept is the opposite. So if I had to stay safe as a child by following the rules, as an adult, now I can stay safe by breaking the rules and being free. As a child, if I had to hide to stay safe, as an adult now in my new self-concept, I can be seen and be safe. And when it comes to perfectionism, as a child, I was trying to keep myself protected. As an adult now in my new self-concept, I can be an imperfectionist. I can be okay with making mistakes and being wrong and messing up, and that can be safe. I can be safe doing that. And another one that I missed before was that in the past, I was very concerned about being embarrassed or doing something that would be shameful. and not wanting to show any of those parts of myself, because that would just mean that I was not good enough, I was less than, and not worthy. But in my new self-concept, I can be shameless. I can do anything I want and not feel bad about it, not feel shame around it. And of course, I'm not going to do anything to harm another person, but anything that I do that is for my own life, I shouldn't be ashamed of it. I shouldn't be embarrassed by it. I should just love it, love myself for what I choose to do, be empowered by that. And so that's another really big one too. And going from the victim energy to going to the winner energy. So now in my new self-concept, I'm not a victim to circumstances. I'm choosing to be a winner. I'm choosing to be in alignment with creating a life that I dream of, creating a life that I love. And the stress that I felt as a child of needing to survive, I can now move into a state of ease and relaxation, safety, and empowerment. So everything that I had in the past, it's the complete opposite in my new self-concept. So when I used to feel like a failure, now I can feel like a success. I can feel like I'm bound to succeed. I'm always going to succeed. I am a success. I'm successful, instead of feeling like I'm a failure and that I'm never going to succeed. So these opposites are just so key to really transforming and transmuting all of the past energy. So going from like not taking care of myself to really getting fit and getting into the best shape of my life, taking care of my health, eating healthy foods, drinking a lot of water, getting plenty of sleep. That is like a priority in my new self-concept. And going from that scarcity mentality around money and feeling fear and feeling like there's not enough to feeling rich and wealthy and abundant, because that is my birthright, because it's all of our birthrights. And that there's always more than enough. There's never a lack. And one huge one too is like work. When I was younger, work is something that was associated with hard work, right? You got to work hard for money, and it's not fun, and you're not going to like it, and you're just going to have to do it. But in the new self-concept, it's all about play, work as play and enjoyment and fun, and creating a business around that, because I see other people doing it, so why not me? If I see other people doing it, you can do it too. I can do it too. So these are really huge realizations that I believe can really shift the way that you're seeing yourself. So I would recommend for you to write out your past self. What has been the behaviors that you have adapted into your life to stay safe or to survive? Example, staying a victim, following the rules, being a perfectionist, being embarrassed, being a victim, controlling, having scarcity, feeling powerless. Like these were your old ways that existed because of the situation that you grew up in. And now what is the opposite of that? Who do you want to be? And that is the new self-concept that we are going to start to embody every single day. So again, some people can do this in a day, just right away. And some people are going to need to take some time to acclimate to it. And I feel like at this point in time, I'm ready to just start acclimating to it and like see what happens, because I don't know that it's going to happen in an instant. But what I can say is that I now know, and I recognize more than ever, that your self-concept, your identity, is really the most important thing to transcending those blocks that have been holding you back, because they will no longer exist when you step into that new version of you. When I step into this new version of me, I'm no longer held back by anything of the past, because it's no longer there. It's gone. That past self is in the past. Now I exist as my new self-concept, my new self who breaks the rules and feels safe, who's very decisive, who is safe being seen and enjoys being seen, who is an imperfectionist and has no problem making mistakes, getting it wrong, and feels totally safe and happy about it, who is shameless, who has no shame in her game, who does whatever she wants and does not feel bad about it. and who is a winner at life, who's successful in everything she does, and is empowered and lives a life of ease and play and trust and overflow, and really connects to that goddess energy that is abundant and overflowing with love and beauty and nature, and is fit and is powerful and is everything that she wanted to be when she was that little girl, but that now she can release that old version and step into the new self concept. So again, I recommend you do this exercise of writing out your past self, writing out your new self concept, and I will leave a link in the comments below and in my bio with some really great offerings that I currently have for you. And I just want to say, we're in this together. I'm here with you, and I want us to evolve to the next greatest, highest version of ourselves. And recognizing the past, acknowledging the past is really part of the process. And there's so much healing that you can do in many different ways. And this is one way. This is one way to heal a lot of that past energy. Writing it out, acknowledging it, knowing that it was there for a reason. It helped you. It really helped you survive. It really helped you to stay safe, but you don't need it anymore. You have a new version that's going to keep you safe and help you thrive going forward. So I hope this helps you. Please leave me a comment below to engage and discuss what's going on with you, how I can help you, and also just what you've discovered from doing this practice, because I would love to know. And I will see you in the next one. Take care and namaste.